Hey everybody, how you doing? And I'm gonna get going in just a second. This promises to be pretty interesting. Just putting the YouTube part of this on social media, and we'll begin. And this is not going to be a long live stream at all, but it is a live stream, so I'm writing it live now. There. And writing live. There we go. Saying live. All right. There. And here we are. Okay. So, as the Squire of Gothos would say, Trelane, in Star Trek, let's have at it again, shall we? Welcome. I made a vlog about this man, Joe Burrow, ostensibly the number one pick in the 2020 NFL draft next week by the Cincinnati Bengals. This is the video that I made about Mr. Burrow, and this is what I said in that video. I will pull up right now using the outstanding StreamYard system right here. There. That's not the one. This is, let's see here. Always have to find the one that I was using, right? Let's see. Let me go back. Always had it in place, didn't I? Let's see here. That's not it. One moment, please. Back here. Nope. There. There. That's the one. And that's the one. Okay. This is the one, folks. Let me start that now.
So many are penciling in to be the number one pick in the NFL.
And let me start that again. Okay,
hey,
folks.
Quick!
This is the one, folks. Probably heard the little echo. I have to swap out images. Okay, so let me try that aloud again. And go here. There. There. Hi again, folks. We're back. And I'm putting this in the screen. This is the video that I referred to right here. That one. Okay. Now, let me play this, and you'll hear what I said that started all of this. It is right here. Right here.
Thought about Joe Burrow, who many are penciling in to be the number one pick in the NFL draft to the Cincinnati Bengals. Mel Kiper Jr. said that one reason he was high on Burrow is that he improved from 2018 to 2019 in terms of completion percentage from 58% to 78%, excuse me. Well, think about that, and then remember this name, Joe Brady. Joe Brady was the passing game coordinator who was hired by LSU and worked for them for one glorious year. That's right, last year, 2019. Is it any wonder that Joe Burrow's completion percentage improved? Of course it did, because Brady ushered in a wider spread system that paid more attention to space and receivers in space than the previous design of the offense. So I conclude from that, myself, that Joe Burrow is more a system quarterback who was the lucky recipient of the right scheme and the right personnel at the right time. I don't think he's going to be quite the phenom in the NFL that others do. Subscribe to Zennie62 and bookmark OaklandNewsNow.com.
Well, some folks didn't like that I took that view. In particular, a fellow by the name of Drew. So if you go down to the columns, the comments here, Drew writes, not sure where to start in my reply to your video. Joe Burrow transferred to LSU after not playing football for 3 years, except for some mop-up duty in a few games. He came to LSU and played under center 2018 for the first time in his life, in an offense that was more ball control than passing, which was LSU's reputation for the past decade. Then Joe Brady came in and essentially installed the New Orleans Saints offense. In your video, you called Joe Burrow a system quarterback. I have never heard anyone call Drew Brees a system quarterback. What LSU learned in that 2018 season, when coach and player was still learning one another, is how smart he was and his ability to take on a lot more complicated of an offense. Yes, LSU opened up their offense in 2019, and it took someone with the smarts and ability to execute it. Thank you, Joe Brady, for the offense, but it was really easy for any. But if it was really easy for any QB, as you state, system QB, then every school will install a complicated NFL offense and take the college football world by storm. And my reply was that, and I said, I have so much to say, I will respond in a vlog. But then this guy writes back something I think is really awful. Quote, no need to reply, as you can see. My post was not an opening salvo of a debate. Sorry, I know what I know. Really? Good luck with your YouTube channel. Bye. Well, no, Dean. First of all, you have the whole thing mixed up. Listen to me, okay? First of all, it goes like this. This is my channel. I determine when the show is over. I determine when the debate starts and when it stops. And so I have picked the debate. I'm having the last word, okay? And unless you make a video on your own, this will always be the last word with respect to what you wrote, because you didn't make a video to state it or to show your face. Understand? So with that, let's continue. And something else too. Because you're writing on 2 dimensions does not give you the right, and you should always work not to be mean and cutting. When you're writing on someone else's platform here, and this is my YouTube channel, you come to my place. If you go to Zennie62.com, that is really my place because I own the blogs and I have a dedicated server, which means what? Which means I control the whole thing. So I control my own private Idaho. You don't control my private Idaho. You made yourself a guest in it by commenting and by word, but I set the tone. So having said that, I will now say this. First of all, you're wrong. In every model, system dynamics, in particular modeling paradigm, or equations, they're independent variables. An independent variable means that it doesn't rely on anything else for its value. In this instance, that independent variable is Joe Brady, the passing game coordinator for LSU, who was not there in 2018. Joe Brady came in, and he didn't install the New Orleans Saints offense. I think that's a statement that is at best simplistic and at worst insulting to what Joe Brady really did. Because when I look at Joe Brady's offense, I don't see the New Orleans Saints. I see an offense that respects space, the use of space, at a level not seen since Art Briles at Baylor. So what I see is far different than what you see. And I have the New Orleans Saints playbook. So you're wrong. He didn't install the Saints playbook and just say, oh, just run this, which really is an Erhard Perkins style approach with concepts, okay? Now, This is more about space and timing. He put Burrow into it. It's not a complicated offense either. It doesn't have the myriad number of formations that a truly complicated offense has, specifically the Bill Walsh offense, which is such that Coach Walsh will go into a game with, let's take Super Bowl 16, where he went in with 89 passes and 31 runs, with a common habit of going into a game with as many as 100 passes. That is a complicated offense. LSU's offense is not complicated. But the simple fact of the matter is that for one glorious year, we saw Joe Burrow in one system. A perfect marriage of scheme, player, and players around him. Outstanding line blocking technique, outstanding formation of pass pocket. That's what we saw. So for you to make that statement, I thought was intellectually irresponsible, and I'm just putting it kindly. The simple fact of the matter is the man who really has and is responsible for the elevation of the man we know as Joe Burrow is pure and simple the person that everyone has been talking about, and that's Joe Brady. And there's no way that you or I or anybody else can get around that. Joe Brady, who's now the Carolina Panthers offensive coordinator, the man I'm about to present to you here, is the person that should get the credit for the development of Joe Burrow. It's easy to get those Joes a little bit mixed up there. Joe Burrow, and arguably the formation of what I call Franken quarterback. Why? Because he put Joe Burrow in a sort of a test tube offense, if you will. And out of that, let's not forget the LSU defense, okay? Out of that, this man did. And out of that, this is Joe Brady. And out of that, produced a national champion. I would be sold on Joe Burrow if he did it more than once. All right? But if Joe Burrow is so good and should be anointed, then Dwight Haskins should have been. But he wasn't. So all of that leads me to say this. Joe Burrow will be at best above average, but he will not be a world beater. He may even turn out to be a bust. I think a lot of people are going to come away with buyer's remorse if they buy into the idea that Joe Burrow is the savior, okay? Joe Burrow is not the savior. I think the Bengals are making a gigantic mistake by selecting him if they do. I think Chase Young was a better choice for the Bengals. He is truly a transformative player in a way that Joe Burrow on his own is not. Joe Burrow without Joe Brady is an above average quarterback like a Justin Herbert or Tua Tagovailoa, but he is not the best quarterback. Okay? He is not the best. Yeah. I could put either Tua or Herbert in Joe Brady's LSU system, and he would adjust that system to their talents and come away with a champion. I believe that. I think the real question is, what did Joe Brady do that so captured the Carolina Panthers' imagination that they brought on this young 30-year-old as their offensive coordinator? That's the question. And I'll deal with that in another vlog. But no, Dean, I get the say. Okay, remember that. It's not you that gets the say here, okay? I get the say regarding Zennie 62 on YouTube and what happens on my platforms, not you. Okay. Now, let me answer your comments. Momo says, what's your expectations for Burrow in the NFL? I believe I stated those. I'm not high on him, and I think a lot of people are putting too much stock in him. Momo says, do you think Burrow can win the Rookie of the Year next season? No. The Femon, we're going to see what Z Taylor is made of as a head coach. Yeah, we are really going to. But I think to pencil in that Joe Burrow would be Rookie of the Year is an insult to Chase Young. If Chase Young is really the kind of player that everyone believes he is, and he's shown himself to be, you should have seen the crowd for this guy at the combine. Then the question is, what's to stop Chase Young from being Rookie of the Year, right? That's the question. But Joe Burrow, do I expect Joe Burrow to be Rookie of the Year? No. Do I expect him to be competitive for the job? I do. But for a while. I believe over the first 5 or 6 games, if he is the starter, okay? If he is the starter, whenever we have a season, we may not see a full season this year, he'll be effective. And then what happens? The league will get a book on him. But I'll say this. Mr. Taylor's system, which I went to stadiums to see, is not one that causes me to be confident that Joe Burrow will emerge with the same kind of success he did at LSU. That's not going to happen. Okay. He is going to be in for a very rude awakening. If Mr. Taylor takes that offense at LSU and mimics it with adjustments, then I give him a chance, okay? But he's not going to do that. Taylor's going to want him to fit his system because he believes he knows better. Wow. So there you go. I'll be back. And no, Offensive Rookie of the Year, let me get back to you on that. But my thought would be that I believe the Offensive Rookie of the Year is going to come from one of the wide receivers. But I don't believe it's going to come from Joe Burrow. Okay. But I'm not settled on that. We'll talk more about that later. Subscribe to Zennie62. We'll be back.